Hello, Janvier second graders. My name is Miss Lloyd, and I am a second grade teacher. Earlier in the week, you listened to the full story of Pinocchio. Today, we are actually going to listen to specific parts of this story. So, our goals are to listen to a fluent reader, actively listen and think about what we are reading, and answer some questions. Just like the last read aloud, I may stop at certain parts of the story to ask questions that require you to think out loud. These types of questions uh, re- will not be written down or submitted. Rather, they are a chance for you to pause and think about what you are reading about. At the end of the story, there will be a question for you to type your answer to write on a Google Doc or form that you will then turn in or mark as done on your teacher's Google Classroom page. So when we read, we're going to practice active listening by sitting quietly, paying attention, and thinking about the book as it is being read. When you listen this way, you can better hear and understand the story. So again, this is the cover page, and we're going to focus on Pinocchio. So I'm going to turn to the page that we're reading. And I'm actually going to have a narrator read this part of the story for you.
After choosing the name for his marionette, Geppetto set seriously to work to make the hair, the forehead, the eyes. Fancy his surprise when he noticed that these eyes moved and then stared fixedly at him. Geppetto, seeing this, felt hurt and said in a sad tone, "Ugly wooden eyes, why do you stare so?" There was no answer. After the eyes, Geppetto made the nose, which began to stretch as soon as finished. It stretched and stretched and stretched till it became so long it seemed endless. Poor Geppetto kept cutting it and cutting it, but the more he cut, the longer grew that impertinent nose. In despair, he let it alone. Next, he made the mouth. No sooner was it finished than it began to laugh and poke fun at him. "Stop laughing," said Geppetto angrily, but he might as well have spoken to the wall. "Stop laughing, I say," he roared in a voice of thunder. The mouth stopped laughing, but it stuck out a long tongue. Not wishing to start an argument, Geppetto made believe he saw nothing and went on with his work. After the mouth, he made the chin, then the neck, the shoulders, the stomach, the arms, and the hands. As he was about to put the last touches on the fingertips, Geppetto felt his wig being pulled off. He glanced up, and what did he see? His wig was in the marionette's hand. "Pinocchio, give me my wig!" But instead of giving it back, Pinocchio put it on his own head, which was half swallowed up in it. At that unexpected trick, Geppetto became very sad and downcast, more so than he had ever been before. "Pinocchio, you wicked boy!" he cried out. "You are not yet finished, and you start out by being impudent to your poor old father. Very bad, my son, very bad." And he wiped away a tear. The legs and feet still had to be made. As soon as they were done, Geppetto felt a sharp kick on the tip of his nose. "I deserve it," he said to himself. "I should have thought of this before I made him. Now it's too late."
So I'm actually going to pause right here, and I want you to practice some active listening by thinking out loud. So, my question to you guys is, do you think Geppetto regretted his decision to make this wooden boy Pinocchio? And what clues in the story help support your answer? So you can go ahead and pause the video and share your answer out loud to a family member, any adult that's helping you, or even yourself. So think about this question. Do you think Geppetto regretted making Pinocchio? And what clues help support your answer? Okay. So hopefully you said that out loud either to yourself or to anyone around. So when I'm thinking about that question, in my opinion, I believe Geppetto did regret making Pinocchio because Pinocchio wasn't being so nice to him. He was actually being a little rude to him. Also, in the story, if you look down at the bottom of page 9, right here where Geppetto's talking, he says, I should have thought of this before I made him. Now it's too late. So that's giving clues showing that, yeah, he made a mistake by making him. So that's my opinion, and I use details to help support my opinion. So we're going to read two more, or a couple more pages.
He, he took hold of the marionette under the arms and put him on the floor to teach him to walk. Pinocchio's legs were so stiff that he could not move them, and Geppetto held his hand and showed him how to put out one foot after the other. When his legs were limbered up, Pinocchio started walking by himself and ran all around the room. He came to the open door, and with one leap, he was out into the street. Away he flew. Poor Geppetto ran after him, but was unable to catch him, for Pinocchio ran in leaps and bounds, his two wooden feet, as they beat on the stones of the street, making as much noise as 20 peasants in wooden shoes. Catch him! Catch him! Geppetto kept shouting, but the people in the street, seeing a wooden marionette running like the wind, stood still to stare and to laugh until they cried. Peasants, laborers, usually farm workers. At, at last, by sheer luck, a soldier happened along, who, hearing all that noise, thought that it might be a runaway colt, and stood bravely in the middle of the street, with legs wide apart, firmly resolved to stop it and prevent any trouble. Pinocchio saw the carabinier from afar and tried his best to escape between the legs of the big fellow, but without success. The carabinier grabbed him by the nose. It was an extremely long one and seemed made on purpose for that very thing, and returned him to Geppetto. The little old man wanted to pull Pinocchio's ears. Think how he felt when, upon searching for them, he discovered that he had forgotten to make them. All he could do was to grab Pinocchio by the back of the neck and take him home. As he was doing so, he shook him 2 or 3 times and said to him angrily, We're going home now. When we get home, we'll settle this matter. Pinocchio, on hearing this, threw himself on the ground and refused to take another step. One person after another gathered around the two.
All right, I'm actually going to stop right here. And now that we are at the end of the the part that we wanted to read today, it is your turn to answer a question that you will turn in on Google Classroom. So here is the question that I want you guys to focus on. So, Geppetto carves many features onto Pinocchio's head, like a nose and mouth. Think back to all of the features or parts. Does he forget anything, and how do you know? So make sure you're thinking back, and if you need to, you can always go back in the video to reread or listen to the story again. So when you're done typing your answer to the question, you are going to submit it to your teacher. And a lot of times there'll be a turn in button right in this corner over here. It'll say turn in, and you can press turn in. But that's only after you answer the question by typing it below right here. So thanks for actively listening to this Read Aloud today, and take care until next time. Bye.